Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei parents adopt Veronica, vali, on the day Issei was born. Part 3. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Hallway leading to Grafia room. Issei Pav. Riaz and I started walking to big sister Grafia room. What am I going to say to Veronica? I asked, still thinking that Veronica was angry and upset. Riaz looked at me and pet my head. Everything's going to be fine. Veronica was a little scared. That's all. You also scared me with that power. Just how long have you even had that power? I looked away from Riaz and down at the floor. My Dragon Breaker is a downgraded version of the Juggernaut Drive, which Veronica and I took over 3 years to get right. It's an ability that can only be used in Balance Breaker, sort of like an overdrive, which lets me use roughly 3 times more power than the normal Balance Breaker can safely output. But Drag and I have to be in the right mindset. I can use Dragon Breaker only 2 times a day, but if I use it more than that my body fall to shock and I pass out for a time. Riaz looked shocked about what she just heard. Issei. She said softly as we kept walking. Also, I may have 2 sacred gears. Boosted gear you know of, Riaz nodded. I also have a knife sacred gear that houses a powerful friend in it. It has the power to create a wide range of thing and change its form from a knife to a giant dragon. But the downside to it is that I can't use it without turning off drag, and it forces me to black out after using it. Also, it's a god class sacred gear that was made by the Infinity Dragon, Office, herself, and she lives within it. When I finished, Riaz just looked at me with a face pale with fear. You have the Infinity Dragon Office living in you and you never told me or the others? Riaz asked in shock. Yes. I haven't told you or the others because I know if people find out about me and Office, it could start the next Great War. The only people who know about this are me, Office, Drag, and just recently Veronica, Yuma, Kuroka and now you. I didn't look at Riaz while I said that, I only looked at the floor. How long have you had Office? 10 years so far, keeping her safe until she's ready and fully healed. Riaz and I fell into silence as we continued to walk to Grafia's room. Time skipped 10 min outside Grafia room. Issei Pav. Once we were outside Veronica's door, I took a deep breath and knocked, only to hear someone say enter at the same moment, and I opened the door slowly as they said that. The room was large, with painted red walls, and against the far wall was a king-size bed where 3 people sat. Veronica sat in the middle with her sacred gear out, while Grafia and isseiXhearm sat to either side of her, trying to stop her of crying. As Riaz and I walked into the room, it didn't take long for the 3 to look at us. Veronica looked at me with tears in her eyes. It looked like she was ready to break out right there and then. I walked over her and she kept her eye on me. I raised my hand as if to slap her full force, and she closed her eyes while bracing for it. I made my move, but there was no noise. I saw Veronica jump in shock when she feels something on her lips. isseiXhearm, Grafia and Riaz were just happy and shocked at my action of kissing my own sister on the lips. The next time you call me a monster, I'll show you that I'm not. Smiling, I let Veronica go and I could see her blushing and looking down. isseiXhearm was the first to speak up. Well, that's surprising. Issei, care to explain why you just did that? He asked. I looked from him to Riaz, then Grafia, then back to isseiXhearm. Thanks to Drag and Albion changing me and Veronica into dragon devil hybrids, our hormones have been effect that makes us a bit attracted to each other sexually, so we kiss just to keep it in check. And from the looks of it, Veronica likes kissing her own brother. I smiled cheeky, which made Veronica blush little harder. isseiXhearm and Grafia just look at us and smile. Riaz on the other hand walked up to us and hugged both me and Veronica. It's about time you 2 get back together. Seeing the 2 of you fight is something that makes all of us sad. Riaz says with a big smile. And by the way, Litly sis, Issei this my dragon too, so you're going to have to share him. Veronica looked at me, then Riaz, who moved a bit of her hairs to show out her new red dragon mark on the right side of her neck, then she looked back at me. I give her a little smile. So Issei marked you too, did he? Veronica asked with a little red blush. Yeah, I marked Riaz. I said, getting everyone in the room to look at me. isseiXhearm was the first one to ask. What mark? The red dragon mark that Riaz and Veronica have are my dragon family mark. I say, sorry big brother, I lied little about the marks, they're mate mark not kin marks. In the back from my mind I feel bad for lying, but if he or someone else finds out about the mark, we may get disowned or thrown out of the devil faction altogether. So, if I try to marry out Riaz to someone else? isseiXhearm asked. It'll be a repeat of what happened to Rizer, and also I'm willing to keep my sisters safe until they pick who marries them. So if you or farther try to marry the 2 of them off, I will even fight you, brother. I shouted that last part and flame burned out my body and release some of my power and take out my boosted gear and Excalibur, which made Grafia, isseiXhearm and Riaz back up a bit. Issei, how did you get that weapon? Grafia asked. Clam down. isseiXhearm said, trying to calm Issei down. Issei, are you listening? I put my sword little to see what isseiXhearm was doing. What? isseiXhearm put his hands up and says. What are you going to do with Riaz and Veronica? I deactivate my weapons. If it came to it I would take them as my own, but that's the worst case scenario. They need their freedom to choose, and if they find someone then more power to them. I said smiling, but that looked isseiXhearm in the eyes. But if you, Dad, or anyone try to force them I will not hold back, I swear that. I, Issei Gremory, the Red Dragon Emperor and Protector of Infinite, will keep Riaz Gremory and Veronica Gremory safe from all hardship until my death. And destroy all those who would bring harm to them. As I finished my oath, isseiXhearm and Grafia looked at me with a shocked look. Infinite? isseiXhearm asked. Riaz, Veronica, and I all gave a look of fear. Issei, by chance do you somehow know Office? I looked away from him. I don't wish to talk about it. Grafia walked over to me and patted me and Veronica on the head. Office, can you hear me? My right arm started glowing black and a bright light lit up the room, and once the light faded Office appeared on my back hugging me. Yes, I can. She said emotionless. isseiXhearm and Grafia were surprised by this. What, do you wish to talk about Strongest Queen? Are you planning to use my younger brother? Grafia asked, trying to get some answers. No. I am not using him. I only wish to get my silence back in the dimensional gap, but now the Red Dragon Issei Gremory offered me a new home more than 10 years ago, and so I continue to stay with him until he says otherwise. Her grip tightened a little to show that she was staying put. An idea popped into my head. Brother, do you have one of my special pieces? I asked. Him nods and pass a bishop piece with 2 wings on its sides. Office, are you willing to become a member of my peerage? And if so, before I could finish she grabbed a piece and placed it to her flat breast and absorbed it, then 8 purple dragon wings came out of her back with red line going across them. I am Office, the Dragon of the Infinite and the newest bishop of the Red Dragon household. Me and everyone in the room were surprised by what she'd just done. Brother? Is it just me or has Issei just tamed a dragon god? Riaz asked, and isseiXhearm could only nod. Grafia was holding her husband's arm as the amount of power in the air was actually scaring her. Veronica just jumped at me and grabbed my arm. Issei, how many dragons are you going to take in? This is the 4th one, you cheat. At this point I could only laugh at how things went from me and my sister fighting to a dragon god joining my team. All I know is that life is one big rollercoaster. Time skip. Next day, school begins. Normal Pav. Issei was walking with Veronica, Yuma, Kuroka, Kaneko, and Riaz around him getting bad insults of the boy. One brave soul came up to Issei. Who the fuck do you think you are? The boy looked like a second year with black hair and was a bit taller than Issei. The guy had 2 others with him. Yeah, you just transfer in and now you think you can just take one of the great goddesses of the school. You're a useless piece of shit that's trying to be cool. He grabbed Issei's shirt collar. Riaz and the girls were about to make the guys pay for trying to bully Issei, but he just laughed and kicked the guy in the stomach. I'm going to say this only once, so listen up, these girls with me are mine. So if I find you or anyone trying to make a move on them I will not hold back. Do it make myself clear? Issei asked, but when no one replied. Do I make myself clear? He shouted, getting a resounding sir, yes sir. From the 3 boys before they ran out. First day at school and people are already trying things. Issei and the girls began to walk to the main school. Riaz met up with Akeno, and the 2 headed to their classroom while Issei, Veronica, Yuma, Kaneko, and Kuroka all head to their only class. Once in class the devils all take their seats, only this time they all sat around Issei and talked about his fight with the 3 boys. I would do the same for each of you if it came to it. All the devil girl blushed and some people in the class who was listened to them were thinking what Issei was talking about. Aika Kiryu, a girl who had befriended Asia her first day at school, as well as an open and proud female pervert, walked up to the group with the former nun beside her. Good morning everyone. Issei said, getting the group to look at her and giving a morning from all of them in return. What can I do of you, Miss Kiryu, Issei asked in a noble voice. Issei blushed and Aika smiled creepily. Oh, I just came over to see how you were doing. After all, you were just in a fight with one of the toughest boys in the 2nd year. Issei just sighed. Well, it was more a one-sided beatdown than a fight. The only thing I did was show him who the real boss is. Issei said with a smirk. The teacher walked into the classroom and got everyone to be quiet. Okay class, we have 3 new transfer students joining us too today. So please welcome them with open arms. As she finished, the door opened and 3 young ladies entered the room and walked to the front of the class. One had short black hair with dark red highlights and a red cloak. The next long blonde hair which was tied in long curled twin tails and wearing a pink version of the cowhide uniform. Lastly, the smallest one of the 3 who had long deep purple hair and wear a purple dress with the cow logo on it. Would you like to introduce yourselves? The little red reaper started. Hello, my name Ruby Rose, I'm only 14 years old, but I moved up a grade. My likes are cookie color red and having friendly fights with my old spring partner. Oh, and I'm living with the Gremory family. Ruby finished with a small bow. Next was the blonde-haired girl. Hello, my name is Ravel Underwood. I'm 15 years and my like are reading, cooking, small animals and the mythological bird phoenix. The Gremory twins and I are old friends. Ravel finished, causing most of the class to look at the twin with a surprise. Just how many cute girls does that boy know? The boys asked under their breath. Lastly, the purple hair started. I am Office Nightingale, 14 years old. I like cool places, sleeping in Red's lap. Office finished and started walking to Issei's seat. While still looking out of the window, Issei moved himself back a bit to let Office hop onto his lap, which surprised the entire class with how Issei just let Office sit on him. The teacher just looked at Issei and Office, then to Veronica, who just smiled at her. Mr. Gremory, how come Miss Nightingale is sitting on your lap? The teacher asked. Issei just put his arm around Office and pulled her in as she fell asleep. Office sleeps a lot, but she's pretty smart, so I made a deal with the headmaster to let Office sleep, so long as she's with me. I'll keep an eye on her and if she needs help with tests I'll teach her. He said, continuing to look out the window. Ruby and Ravel waking to 2 seats in the back of the class next to Veronica, and class started. Office, can you hear me? Issei asked Office through their sacred gear. Yes, why do you wake me? She said. Just checking if you're okay. Go back to sleep, I'll wake you up once break starts. Issei finished and Office fell back to sleep. Son, did you feel that power that just entered the school? Drake said. Yeah, holy swords. What the fuck are the angels thinking? Issei said, really pissed off. Time skip lunch at Orc Room. Issei and his peerage were outside the door that led to the Orc Room. Knocking, Issei opened the door when he heard an enter and saw Rhea sitting on the couch closest to the window with her peerage standing behind her. Across from Rhea's were 2 people wearing white robes, one had blue hair and a 2-handed bastard sword, while the girl next to her had long chestnut tied up in twin tails and a 1-handed katana. Issei's group looked at what was going on. Rhea's was the first to look at Issei and his group. Welcome back. Rhea said in a calm but quietly piss-off voice. Issei looked at the 2 priests, and the 2 looked back, only of the chestnut one to jump up and point a finger at the dragon twins' eyes. Vale. What are you 2 doing here? She shouted, making everyone in the room look at the 2. What arena? Arena Hyoudou? He asked and she nodded. How long has it been? 11 years now. What, arena? Arena Hyoudou? He asked and she nodded with a familiar smile. How long has it been? 11 years now. Issei and his team came into the room. Ravel and Ruby stood behind the priests, while Yuma stood next to where most of Rhea's peerage sat. Issei sat mid-dies of the couch, Veronica on Issei's right side, and Rhea's was on his left, each hugging one of his arms. Opus and Kaneko, with her Nekomata ears and tail out, moved to sit on Issei's lap. Arena just look at the Red Dragon Emperor. Issei, what are you doing? She asked with a shocked expression. Issei was about to explain, only for Office to speak up first. I'm sitting with my friend and protector, said the dragon goddess in her typical emotionless tone as Kaneko snuck in. I'm sitting with my new big brother, Kaneko said, warping Issei's arm around him and Office. Then Rhea's and Veronica both hugged Issei as well. I'm Issei's queen, so my place is by his side, Veronica explained. I'm Issei's old sister and king, so it's my job to look after him even if he dislikes it, said Rhea's, both pulling him in closer. The other girls all smiled at the scene, but the 2 exorcists were shocked by what they just heard. Yuma then stepped up, making the church duo look at her. My king has only let them do things like this because most of the girls here are members of his peerage. I, myself, am a pawn in his service. My name is Yuma Amano and I'm one of his childhood friends. Yuma Bo, acting like Issei's maid. Let me introduce you to Issei's team. First, the 2 girls behind you. The young girl with the black and red hair is Ruby Rose, a hand-picked member chosen by the one of the 4 devil kings, Sirzich Lucifer himself. She was picked to be a pawn like myself. Ruby bowed and smiled towards the young holy sword wielders. Next to her is the only daughter of the Phoenix household is Ravel Phoenix, one of the bishops in the team. Ravel gave a small curtsy. The black-haired woman with the cat ears and tail is Kuroka Hyoudou, one of the last Nekomata and a master in the arts of magic, Senjutsu and Yujutsu. She holds his rook piece and a bishop mutation piece from her previous master. The exorcists turned to Kuroka, who was sitting on one of the window ledges looking out to the sky. The small girl on Issei's lap with the purple hair is Office Nightingale. The second bishop in the peerage and a dragon, just don't ask what type, but she's very close to Issei. Yuma finished and Office replied with a little nod. You forgot about someone, said Issei, only for Yuma to blush. Oh, sorry, I forgot Issei's queen. Lady Veronica Gremory, one of the Gremory's twin dragons. High-class devil princess and the white dragon empress. She holds joint first place with her twin as the most powerful people among the younger devils, Yuma said. Arena began to sweat after hearing that one of her oldest friends was a devil. Is what she said true? Veronica only nodded. So, I've been friends with a devil all these years. Oh God, please forgive me for my sin. Irina started to pray, causing most of the devils in the room to grab their heads, but not Office, Issei, or Veronica. Irina, what I'm going to say is important, so listen. When we were kids, Veronica and I were only human, we weren't devils at that time. Issei said, only to get a smile from Irina. Issei then fell silent for a minute. Our parents were killed 10 years ago. He says, making the whole room fall into silence. Veronica and Riaz hugged him even closer. Irina and her partner just look at him. But the blue-haired girl spoke. So, you give up your humanity just to become a devil? She said and draw her sword. If so, I can send you to your parents, and God may even forgive you. What happened next terrified Irina and all the devils. What did you just say? Said Veronica in a cold tone. I said if he wishes to. Blue girl was cut out by Veronica, release a great amount of power, and as she said just 2 words. Balance breaker. Vanishing dragon. Balance breaker. A bright light lit up the room and only it cleared. Veronica and the blue-haired girl were gone. The only sound heard was glass shuttering. All the people in the room looked towards the window closest to Ria's desk, only to find a huge gaping hole in the wall. Issei was the first to move. Running to the hole and deploying his wings, he flew off into the sky to find his sister flying in the air, wearing a revealing suit of armor with a sword at her left hip and 2 holy-type guns. Veronica was just hovering there looking towards the ground. Issei flew towards her, and he could see the blue-haired exorcist on the ground in an impact crater. Issei looked back at his sister. Wow, haven't seen that on you for a long time. You look beautiful in it. He says, appreciating her appearance in balance breaker while fling next to her. The people who were left in the orc building rushed out as well, only to see the blue net in the ground and 2 flying dragon armors in the sky. Oh my god. Was the only thing Irina could bring herself to say because of the powerful coming off the twins. A split second later, bullets rained down from the sky, shooting the blue-haired girl. Zenobia. Irina screamed. Only for the dust to clear up and show a red barrier around Zenobia. You finally calmed down? Issei asked as the 2 dragons dropped down. Veronica nodded, putting her guns away and disabling her armor, while Issei did the same. The barrier that Issei put up disappeared. Asia, can you heal her please? Issei asked and Asia ran to the injured exorcist and began to heal her. She was lucky. Said Issei, getting everyone to look at him. She was lucky Veronica only used her guns. If she used her magic, everything in a 4-mile radius would have just vanished. He said. Veronica only looked at the injured person getting healed by Asia. Next time she steps out of line, heaven comes crashing down. She said before walking away back to her house. Irina was shocked by what her friend said. What happened to her? Speak devils, what have you done to my best friend? Irina shouted, getting ready to attack Riaz. Riaz was about to show this exorcist who she was messing with, but Kiba and Issei step and swords draw. Attack my master and we will kill you on the spot. Kiba said coldly, sending shivers down her. Issei pulled out his Excalibur and started boosting. Kiba and Irina just looked at him, causing the pigtailed young woman to ask. Issei, that sword? Yeah, it's just what you think. An Excalibur given to me by the Archangel Gabriel herself. Issei claim caused Irina down to drop to her knees. Lady Gabriel give one of the Excalibur fragments to a devil. So, you're an Excalibur user? Kiba asked, causing Issei to nod. Good, now let me destroy it. He said before attacking the sword at full power. Issei took a battle stance and quickly defended himself as Kiba took swings at him. Kiba, stop. Riaz ordered, but her knight refused to list and kept up his attack. Only to get into a sword lock. You're pretty good. Issei said, smiling. He was enjoying himself. Kiba smiled too, actually having fun fighting against one of Hell's top fighter. Yeah, you too, I haven't had this much fun in a long time. But I need to destroy that sword. Kiba said, losing some of the psychotic edge to his voice. Issei remembers something he read once when he was looking at a report about Riaz and her team. He read that Kiba was the last survivor of the Holy Sword program. And the people who ran at Valper Galilee. Kiba, how about I make a deal with you? What type of deal? Stop with your quest to destroy the Excalibur, and I will tell you the name of the person who ordered the killing of you and your former comrades of the Holy Sword Project. Issei said, getting Kiba to stand down. He nodded his assent to the deal. The bastard you are looking for is named Valper Galilee. For a moment Kiba just stood still. Thank you. Now I know my target. Valper works for the fallen angel leader Cacabiel. Zenobia said, barely standing. Issei looked at Zenobia, rage building up. Cacabiel. That fucking bastard killed my family and destroyed my humanity. If he's your mission, then you have no chance in beating him if it's just the 2 of you. Issei said, and everyone, sans office, looked on in fear of the Red Dragon Emperor's rage. Divide, divide, divide. A blue energy wave came out of nowhere. Veronica came running to the group of people. Issei. Veronica shouted out, getting Issei to look at her. Can't I leave you for 10 fucking minutes to clear my own head without you going into a rage? Irina, Zenobia, you 2 are going to be living with me and Issei's team. I just got off the phone with Gabriel and she's coming over to check on you. She then grabbed Issei and left. It was about 4 or 5 hours since the fight with Kiba before both exorcists showed up. Issei was at his house in the shower cleaning himself up and remembering what had happened today. First holy swords and 2 exorcists, now Kiba's on a hunt for Valper Galil, and now I'm on the hunt of Kakabiel. Stopping to think for a minute about what happened to Veronica. Veronica rarely gets angry, is it what Zenobia said, sigh. I need break from all this. Maybe I should sleep alone tonight. Issei said getting out of the shower and putting on a pair of blue shorts as he walked out wiping his face dry. As he got out bathroom he opened the door only to find a Little Red Riding Hood about to grab the door that just opened. Ruby jumped a little too, surprised at Issei coming out of the bathroom. Oh, Ruby, were you about to take a bath? Issei asked, but Ruby was unable to reply because she was gawking at Issei's developed chest muscles. He wasn't ripped like a bodybuilder, rather he was toned like a swimmer or martial artist, and Ruby was blushing at the sight. Issei was confused by Ruby's reaction, or rather lack therefore of, because normally she replies rather quickly. Ruby. She snapped out of it when she heard her name. Yeah, I am. Sorry for staring at you. Ruby apologized, only for Issei to pat her head. Do you want to take one with me? We haven't talked in forever and I really want to know how much you've changed over the last 2 years. Issei said only for Ruby to grab to Red Dragon Emperor and drag him into the bathroom. Time skipped 10 minutes. Ruby and Issei were in the bathtub. Issei was the first in and Ruby with her small body sat in between his legs with her back to his chest. Ruby was loving her time with Issei because in the past the two were extremely close, just like a real brother and sister. So, Ruby, how have things been? I bet Grafie has been pushing you to your limits. Issei asked while relaxing and enjoy the peace and quiet. Not so much actually. After you left to go and train was when Lord Surzich had Grafia start to train me in different things like how to cook, clean, and how to make clothes for myself. Ruby said putting her hands on Issei's knees. Issei was surprised to find out that his sister-in-law had been showing Ruby the basics of household work. Sound like wife training to me? I bet Grafia plans to get you ready for marriage. Joked Issei. Yeah, she has. Ruby said causing Issei to look down at her again. I asked her to teach me how to be a good wife someday. Ruby started crying a bit. After you left no one else who Grafia trained would talk to me. All I got was the cold shoulder out people. You're too young to be fighting and raiding games. You think you're so much better than us just because you had a fight with the Red Dragon King and lived. You can't even cook, so why do you even think you can fight? All the boys in that group kept trying to sleep with me, so I ended up attacking them after one of them said that you're a half-breed. More tears fell, and Issei hugged the little reaper. I hate them so much. You were the only person who would even take the chance to get to know me. I love you, Issei Gremory. Ruby said only to cover her mouth. Issei looked at the young Rose who he was holding in his arms. Ruby, I need ask you, is this love like with brothers and sisters or love like that between men and women? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I see you as my little sister. Issei said showing his true feelings. Ruby only looked down at the water in front of her listening to what the devil dragon was saying. I love you so much even more than brother and sister. The reason why I keep attacking you is because that's the only way I can show my true feelings. She said only for Issei to pull her in close. Ruby, I love you too, but you know I have, and can't believe I'm saying this, a small harem. I think it would be better if you try to find someone else. I can't give you the type of love you deserve. Issei said releasing some of his own tear. No. I'm not letting you go again. I only just came back by your side and I'm staying even if I'm not a part of your peerage. I'm staying. Ruby said holding Issei's arms. Issei's boosted gear triggered and a red pawn appeared in his hand. Issei Gremory, take Ruby Rose. As my pawn and return your souls to the underworld. Issei said put the pawn piece into Ruby's chest. Her whole body started to glow red. Ruby felt a rush of power go through. What is this new power? It feel like I could burn the world. Ruby smiled at the new power she had. Issei, we started to get out of the bath. Ruby started to put on my red shirt. You cheeky. I came up behind Ruby and tapped her on shoulder. She turned with a confused face. I pointed to the shirt she was wearing. Oh sorry. It's just that I forgot to grab my pajamas and most of my clothes are drying or being washed. Ruby blushed. I chuckled. It okay. I just find it funny that my new pawn is stealing my things already. At least Kuroka waited a week before she started taking my things. I smirked and Ruby lived up to her name, her face was the same color as a ruby. Sorry, master. Ruby apologized and began to take off the shirt. Before she could take it off fully I grabbed front of the shirt and pulled it to cover the younger girl up and buttoned it up about 3/4 of the way up. Okay, finished. I said giving Ruby a good look up and down. I gotta say that you might just be one of the cutest people I know. Teasing her a little while getting dressed myself. About 4 minutes or so later we got out of the bathroom and headed for the stairs. On the way, I take the chance to look inside the living room to see who's in then. Kuroka and Kaneko was watching the TV, some show about cats and what looked to be an American rocker. Kuroka was dressed in a black dress shirt covering most of her assets, but still revealing a lot of skin. Veronica was wearing one of my red shirt that was more than a bit big for her, so it covered her well, hiding her panties and some of her legs. The two were hugging, having a bit of sisterly time together. Yuma was in the room to reading and was using the headphones I got her about 2 days ago, listening to music. She was wearing a full set of red pajamas that hung on her perfectly. She was sitting with Veronica laying down using her lap as a pillow. Sis was wearing nothing but her panties and a halfway button-up shirt showed out more skin than Kuroka was. Ravel, who decided to live will the rest of the peerage, was wearing a set of Ruby's pajamas which were all pink, covering all of her up but were a little big on her, though they were a little big on Ruby too. But no sign of a certain redhead. "Hey girls?" I asked, getting most of the girls to look at me, but Yuma, who was either too into her book or the music was blocking his voice. "Have any of you serious at all? I need to talk to her about some things." No one knew where she was until Yuma spoke up. "Upstairs in your room with isseiXhearm," she said without even looking at me. "Thanks Yuma. Well girls, good night, I'm going to talk with isseiXhearm, then I'm going to bed." With that I started to walk out but then stopped after remembering something. "Veronica, Kuroka, you two are going to have to sleep in your own bed tonight." Both girls looked shocked by what I said. "Just for tonight. I need to alone time to talk with Drag and Office about Office staying with me," I said and got a nod of understanding from the two. With that I walked out and up the stairs with a little Rose following behind me. Veronica, was it just me or has Ruby grown stronger the last 2 hours?" I asked, only of everyone to shrug and when go back to what they were doing. "Little one, I think Issei may have added the young Reaper to his family," Albion said, which made sense. "Makes sense. Could it be that she told him about her feelings for him?" I replied. But then I felt a new power in me. "Sorry for coming in without permission," Drake said. "So what my brother done now?" "Nothing, he only added the young Reaper to the group and had a little moment together." "What type of moment? I wonder." "The two had a little cry together hearing about what happened to her in the past. That's all, a little cry and hug." Drake finished. "He's probably going to let her sleep in his bed tonight." I'll allow it. "But tell him if he tries anything on Ruby so I can punish him." I told Drake, only to get a laugh and only get it from him. "Thank you. Papa Drake and Mama Albion, have a good sleep. Love you to sweetie." Drake said sweetly he has a soft spot for treating Veronica like the daughter he always wanted. "Have a great night little one and good night honey," Albion said in a motherly way. "Same to you dear." The two dragons then fell to sleep. Back with Issei. Issei. Ruby and I were outside my room as I moved to open door, but just as I put my on the handle I felt Drake disappear. Probably giving Veronica a rundown of what just happened with me and Ruby. I continued to open the door and find Riaz and isseiXhearm sitting in my room. Riaz was on the bed and isseiXhearm was using my computer chair. The two stopped talking and looked at me and Ruby. "Issei, good to see you." isseiXhearm stood up with open arms. I walked over and hugged my big brother. It was rare that people got to see isseiXhearm and I hug. "Yeah, good to see you too. So, what brings you here?" I asked as we release each other. "Riaz has told me about the two holy swords use and about who gives you that sword." "So Kakabiel is the one who killed your birth parents?" he asked. I only nodded. "It's okay. I got given word that he's planning on starting a new great war. I need you two and Sona to stop him. I know I'm asking a lot of you with this, but I can't step in to stop this. If I try he could use it as a sign of attack on the fallen angels and start the war out with it." isseiXhearm said, then idea pop into my head. "He's not just attacking devils," I said, getting a confused look from the two. "He's attacking devils and dragons." isseiXhearm was surprised by this. "This area is a shared area between devils and dragons. Remember, I'm classified as a dragon king and there is the dragon god office as well, and I don't think that any or even all three biblical factions wish to go to war with the dragons, let alone their god, after the last time dragons started fighting," I said, making isseiXhearm smirked at the idea. "Yes, you're right, I don't wish to fight the dragons." He cut me out and closed his eyes. "Holy energy, fallen angel leader class Kakabiel at cow high. You two go stop Kakabiel now." isseiXhearm ordered, causing us to bow and run downstairs. "Girls, it's go time. Kakabiel's at the school. You've got 3 minutes to get ready," I ordered, and all the girls stood up and used magic to change his clothes from sleepwear to school uniforms. "Let's go." Me and my team rushed to the school. Issei, my peerage and I got to cow only to find Sona outside put up a barrier around the school. "Sona, have it looking," I said, quickly catching my breath. "Not good, we have seen 3 people in there. 1 priest, some psycho swordsman and a 10-winged set fallen angel," she reported. "That fallen angel leader class 3rd strongest in the gremory group. Kakabiel the fucking crow was to start on the great war again," I said in a rage. My power was slow building. Guys don't like him get to you. He may try using tricks or lies to win. We started walking the door in the barrier which Sona made so we can get in and out. Veronica and the other keep walking to the door, but I stop next to Sona. Sona, if something happens to me, promise that you will keep my family safe and keep Veronica from going into depression or doing something stupid. I promise, but you better not die out there. Remember we are technically engaged and I do not find a new fiancé. She said blushing. I came up behind her and bite her neck. A small dragon seal was on her left side of her neck. Issei, what did you just do? Sona moaned. My teeth had Sona blood on them. Welcome to my family, your third mate I have. I walk out only to turn back around. Let get along my little water dragon. I ran out through the door to catch up with my team. But Sona, Miss President, what did that man do to you? A white hair boys around my age came next to the Sona. Nothing that concerned you, Saji. Sona said in her normal tone but smile, but this feeling like a dragon was just have. Saji said, do you know who that man was? She asked. No, I do not, but he needs to keep his hands off thing that is not his, Saji said. Well, that man is the Devil King Sir's young brother and my fiancé. Sona said, left Saji shocked. Wait for your fiancé, but how? You said if someone beat you at the chess they get the rights to marry you. Her queen Tsubaki said. We've been engaged for 6 years now and it was before you came into my service. Sona gives one for her rare smile. Back with me and my team. My team lead by Veronica came up to the track and field practice ground. I don't go with them because if thing gets out of head I have time to dragon break and fuck him up. I was going top of the new school watching the sense that was in front of me. I could see an great magic seal on the ground and 2 people working on a ritual. And one of the biggest ugliest motherfucker I have ever seen on a stone throne in the sky. Kakabiel. So you finally came. Good, now I can finally finish what I came to do. Kakabiel said. My girls were on grounds getting ready to fight. Why have you come here? You know if attacks us will piss off a lot of people. Veronica shouts at Kakabiel, keeping her emotions in check. Oh, I know. I even know who you are, Veronica Gremory, or should I Veronica Hyoudou, blood daughter of the man who killed Jesus Christ and mother from a clan of dragon slayers. He said with a smirk, trying to get under Veronica's skin, but I had no effect on her. Oh, thank of telling my secret of me. Veronica laughed. I already know my family's history. My and Issei parents are past dragon slayers, but killing Jesus that a new update just me to live up to. Veronica said, action her divine dividing. Oh, you're the white dragon empress. Oh, this is going to be fun. Kakabiel used summoning magic and opened gate only of the dog of Hades. Cerberus came out. Meet my pet. Cerberus attacked the girl of all them only to dodge. Una forms 20 light spears and Kuroka makes 200 blue fireballs and got next to each us and lunch, the hell spears combo attack. It landed a clean hit. But the attack did not stop Ruby launch herself at the demon dog with her scythe sacred gear. This sacred gear special abilities is called soul rip. Means physical nothing and most magics cannot block this weapon. She changed that speed that even a high-class knight would find it hard to track. Slashing deep into the beast back and sides in under 1.25 seconds, blood thrown out with Ruby having her back at the demon dog. I only have one thing to say, never fuck with Little Red Hood. She looks cute too under the trained killer. Lastly, the dog started to burn in an under control hellfire. Ravel used one of her Phoenix forbidden spells. Chrysalis Ash, one spell Ravel loves to use this spell, burning a people very soul. Then the dog was eaten by a giant black snake. Office had 3 snakes around her eating the dog like it was a snack. Kakabiel and 2 ex-priests were shitting themself. You just take down an S-class like not thing, who are you people? You're not devil, you're demons. Valper Galilol shouted only to be cut Kiba with a new type of sword, Holy and Devil Sword, and Zenobia next to him, but not Arena. You're finally dead. You're next freed. Both swordman and woman change at the psycho priest and cut him down with only 2 slashes. One of each other. Riaz and Peerage just arrived to the fight. Just then my phone ringing. Hello? Issei, is me. The people who called me was my uncle Azazel. What up? It rare you call. I need to kill Kakabiel, he finds out about you, and Little Veil's secret, Azazel said, made my skin go pale. It was to hear Kakabiel laugh. Oh, I think everyone here needs to hear this, especially Urias. Did you know that Veronica and her brother are lovers? Everyone just froze. Oh, and also was I'm on telling secret, did you know God dead? He said only for me to start laughing so hard that everyone finally finds me. Oh, you fucker telling lies about God ever, you know that God could dead. Yea, he physically can be killed, but give time he comes back kicking. You fuck crow. Call you back, going to kill him now. I put my phone on loudspeaker. You're on. Kakabiel, you are here and have been sentenced to death by Azazel, the leader of the fallen angel. Trying to start a war is unforgivable. Issei, kill him. Azazel ended to call. Sir, yes sir. I gave a killer smile. Kakabiel summoned the light sword. Come on, I have to finish off what I started 10 years ago, killing your full family. It was at this point me and Veronica lost yourself. I jumped off the building deploying my dragon wings and flew into the sky. Veronica was next to me taking my right hand as my boosted gear trigger. You're the red dragon, what are you not fighting to the death? Remember what you said. The two of us are made of life, I shouted as I pulled Veronica a hug and put my boosted gear into the air. Dragon breaker. We both shouted. I began to change into my dragon form, but instead of 2 legs it was all 4 legs. Issei can go full dragon or humanoid dragon at will. This form is a smaller version of drag. I land on the ground roaring so strong the tree and school vanished. Lucky Office put a shield around the 2 peerages. Veronica changes into her balance armor, but it was not revealing, instead it was a full set of pure white armor with 2 great dragon on her back and swords on her left hip. The armor is the original veil balance breaker. Her power was more focused than my own. As we stopped glowing I lay down on ground and Veronica got on me just at the bottom of my neck and started to ride me. Veronica started speaking in the mystical voice. You have been sentenced to death. For all plan you have made. Now end this. As if on command I opened my jaws and a black-red flame appeared. Heaven Destroyer, I roared, and the flame blast out with Kakabiel in it. Destroy him and Sona barrier at the same time with little effort. Nothing left, not even ashes. Veronica disabled her armor, but I stay in dragon form. She stays on my back hugging my neck crying. Crying the tears that should have been let out over 10 years ago. Sister, let it all out. You have not once shed a tear of our past family. Even if you need to cry of millenniums I will stay with you. I said, trying to make my sister feel a bit better. About 5 minutes later the other came over after letting Veronica and myself have a bit of much needed time. I came out of dragon mode as Sona and her peerage came over too. I bet Issei was the one who did most of the damage here. She said to look around. Let's just say if you saw the I'm with Issei Juggernaut drive it like that, but much more damage and a lot of trees on fire. Sorry Miss President, I said was a bow. But my order was to stop him at all costs. So I didn't hold back much. Sona Group was shocked at the power I had. She slapped me on the face leaving a red hand painted. You jerk. You left me worried when you said if you never came back. I don't want to lose my little brother. Sona cry holding on to me. This got a lot of bad look of me and Ria's teams. It okay. I'm not doing even times some. The thing if I did dead no Ravel and Office they would have to use a Phoenix tier 1 of Snake of Power. Oh, and do forget Veronica healing ability. I could take a hit of Surzich and lost an arm and Veronica healing it would grow back after about a minute or so. I said was my cheeky smile. Sona just wiping her tear for her eyes. Then she kissed me on the cheek. One step at a time. Okay, I will let you off this once. I need to start to repair the start. Sona said only for Veronica to do. You click her fingers and the school was repaired. Everyone looks at her. What? Issei had a lot of build-up energy, so I used it to fix the damage he did. Veronica said to hold her hands up. Ria started laughing, then Sona and everyone else. You two must be the most unpredictable people alive. Ria said, still in her laughing fit. Yeah, you may be right, but you love us all the same, I said, opening a teleport gate back home. I'm Skip Pav Issei. The next day was a bit rough day, it only early morning and I can't even get out of bed. Oh, you want to know? It calls one silver-haired girl laying on your left arm. A black-haired cat on my right arm. 2 girls, one with black and one with red hair on top. Why is Sona here? If Office finds her place steal, she kills Sona. I said in the back of my mind. Will not kill her. Office replied. Are you inside me? Yes. Office finally said. Sigh girls, time to get up, we have school, Issei said, woken most of the girls up. Sona was the first to get up. Morning, Sona said, yawning, lucky she was wearing sleepwear. One of Issei red dress shirt. Morning, did you sleep well? She nods and got up and started to give dressed. Sona, that a room across the hallway, please use that room to change, I asked, blight red in the face. Nope. I changing right here. Sona said playfully, stick out her tongue. It funny she only does this type of thing with it, we are together. She must trust me a lot. Then Riaz woke up butt fucking naked. Morning, Issei, she yawns. Morning. Please get dressed, we have school in 2 hours and I don't want to be late. I said. As she got up she looked around to see Sona put my red shirt away wearing nothing but her underwear. Sona, you know you're in a boy room. Why are you even changing in my brother room? Riaz get up and used magic to get full dress. But as Sona turned around you could see a blue dragon seal on her neck. Riaz froze and then put hand on her mark. Issei? You marked Sona? She turned around, her eyes was red. Sona my fiancé and I only marked her last night because I make a promise to stay alive. Wait, fiancé? How long ago? Riaz calmed down. 6 years, Sona said, full dress. 6 years of keeping it a secret. Wait. You're saying that Issei manages to beat you, Sona, the unbeatable chess player at chess? Sona nodded. Well, it was the game take 13 hours to complete, but we stopped halfway because Sona was too embarrassed to speak. She fell asleep. Riaz and Sona turned to me as I finally got out of bed. She fell asleep, so I did what Grafia teach me to do. So I take her up to her bedroom and put her to bed, but at the time Sona had problems sleeping, so I slept next to her to help calm her down. About 3 hours late she wakes up. I told her what I did. Luckily Sona mum followed us to see if I don't try anything to her. Then your mum asked if I wanted to marry her. Before I could answer, Sona said yes to it. Sona blushed red. Then about a week later we were engaged, but I asked if we can keep it a secret until we have our first rating game. Riaz was surprised about this. Are you okay with Issei have a harem? Sona looked at me. I'm okay with it. He treats me like an equally, just like with all the members of his harem, Sona said, walking out of the room. If you're late, Issei, I'm going to make you sleep at my house of a whole week. She then closes the door. It was just me, Riaz and 2 fucking heavy sleeper girls. I'm going on to try and wake those 2 up. So go on ahead. I told Riaz she can go, which she did, but not without kissing me on the cheek. Then walked out of the room. Hi Kuroka, Veronica. I tell you something. I said get a little movement out the 2. Sorry Office. Then Office came out next me. It fine. She spoke emotionless, but I can feel emotional come from her. Happiness. Me and Office have a child, I said, only for both Kuroka and Veronica to jump out of bed and get in my face. You have children already, Kuroka asked, then Veronica with Office. She said, crying. I was finding it hard not to laugh, but out of nowhere I heard something I never imagined. My Office was laughing. Laughing like a little girl, shown emotions. Ha ha ha. Ha funny. Seeing your faces. She tried talking but stopped to catch her breath. Her laughing and smile. Office, you're on your way to knowing what life is about. I petted her on the head, getting a little smile. So the children thing was a joke? Kuroka asks. I nod to her. Oh good, for a second you thought you were being serious. No, I'm not having a kid until I finished high school. I'm not like you, Kuroka. I said, was getting dressed. Kuroka was bright red in the face. I have not slept with never one, I'm a virgin. I've been saving myself for you. She said, catching me off guard. But then she really what she said. Wow. Me and Sis said at the same time. Okay. Sorry for putting you on the spot like that. I bowed to my rook. Remember when you said you will me have 5 kittens with me? She said, scaring the living shit out of me. I nodded. Well, it going to 7 now, hope you get big enough houses for them. She smiles. Sometimes I wonder if the girls around me are more dangerous than the original's Devil Kings. Start of school. The class was long and tiring. History. Learning about some things that I could get too flying fuck about. But today was not just a class, it was a pop test. The thing is that me, Veronica, Yuma, Ravel, Ruby, and Office, even Kuroka finished the test within only 12 minutes, and it was to last about 2 hours. I'm a fan of Rosario plus Vampire. So thank you Ultonva. And not she, not an Ekamata. Miss Nekanum was surprised how fast we finished. Mr. Gremory, Miss Gremories, Miss Hyoudou, Miss Rose, Miss Underwood. You can leave if you wish. Oh, and Mr. Gremory, can you take Miss Nightingale with you please? She asks because once Office finished the test and come to me and sit down on my lap and fell asleep. I asked Yuma to hold her for me and put her on my back. We all left the classroom. On the way out all the boy was shouting ever fuck you. Go to hell. Or my favorite fuck you harem king pretender. Just wait until I take all them girls and fuck them for myself. Let just say the guy who said that got a knife close to the neck. Not by me but my cute little Red Reaper. You say everything bad about my best friend, I will hunt you down, Ruby said, putting the knife back in her boot and walked out the room. What did I say? Never fuck with my little Red. We had made our way to ORC club room to find only Riaz in the room. She was working on some paperwork. She takes the time to look up and welcome us back. That got back to work, my team and I sit down to take a break. Yuma started reading a book about dragon that I got her for research. She was looking for the different types of dragons. Hiroka walks into the next room, which was a bedroom set up for if once needs sleep or healing, and just take a cat nap and take Office with her to sleep. Ravel was surprisingly sleeping using my lap as a pillow. She only used to do this when we were younger. I was about 8 years and she was 7 years ago around the time I take her in as my bishop. Her mum was the one who asked me to look after Ravel because Riser was trying to force Ravel into marry a fuck-up noble form. A lesser family was once of Riser's childhood friend. The guy was about 19 at the time. After hearing that one of my only friends was going to get married because her fucked-up brother was only trying to stay friends with an asshole Olocan noble, I take Ravel and destroy that noble whole family name on the same day. Let's say that family nearly killed the Olocan noble for what he did. A fucked tons of half-dressed naked photo of Ravel and a few different children were found in his room. I personally nearly killed him myself, but I let Ravel decide what happened to him. Strip him of rank, titles and make him walk to prison though the wearing nothing but underwear and a sign saying I am a no-good Pevlolican. And on the day the noble was put in prison and lock in with a bad set of inmates. Screaming was the only thing been here that day. Ravel stayed with the Gremory family for about 2 years after that, and during that time, Ravel told me that she want me to trust she like my younger sister because her older brothers never take the time to play with her or try use her for they only gain. More of her family are assholes, only her mother seems to care a lot more than all of them put together. The day I take Ravel in is the day that I told the whole family that Ravel is a member of the Gremory family and if even one tries to take her back they got to kill me first. I say this at once of the Devil's leaders meeting. The Lord of the Phoenix house was piss off with Is and tried to have me cast out, but his wife told him that she was the ones who asked me to look after Ravel. Then I told the Phoenix's house that Ravel is to leave the Phoenix live under me until she becomes of age, then she allowed her only evil's prices. Which most of the people at the meeting supported me with it, even Ravel father did, but only if I protect and support her if needed. I promised him then leave and to this day I have kept that promise. Have could I not? Ravel this my adopted younger sister. Ruby also slept on my spare lap. The two of them used to argue a lot of time, but now the two are best friends. Veronica was on the phone to someone and only just got outed. Okay, see you in a few minutes. She ended the call. Who was that? A boyfriend? I smirked, getting a mad Veronica. No. You idiot, that was Grafia. I was reminding her that open house is 2 days away. Veronica said, blushing. Why do I need a boyfriend with I have my brother and his harem? True. After said that, Ria's look at Veronica with a not so much happy face. But before she could speak a knock on the door happened. Enter, Ria said. The one for the doors opened, receiving 2 girls. One's blue hair wearing a cow-high uniform. And the chestnut twin-tail girls all wearing the cow-high uniform. Welcome back you two. Ria's welcomed both Irina and Zenobia in. The girls walked in to see me and 2 sleeping young teens using my lap as a pillow. I put my finger to my lips. They only just fall asleep. Irina and Zenobia nodded and sit next to Yuma, who was reading. So what can we do for the church today? I asked. Who said we were member of the church even more? Irina said, crossing her arms. I only looked at Zenobia. I got kicked out of finding out about God. Zenobia said with downcast eyes. I was planning on quitting after find you and Vale, even way. Me and Dad got into a fight. Irina said, I only give a smile. So what your plan? Just then Riaz got up and said. Zenobia joined my household as a knight just only a few hours ago. I offered Irina to be my new rook, but she said no. She frowned. Irina got up and walked over to me, then stood in front of me gripping some things in her hands. I wish to join you as a knight of the Red Dragon family. She held out a whitely yellow knight chest pieces. The pieces itself was radiating a holy and devil power. It was one of my special evil pieces. Irina, how did you get that? I was shaking. Your brother gave it to me yesterday when I was sent to find you. I came to your house only to find a red-haired devil inside. He told me he was your older brother. We started talking. I told him that I was an old friend of yours back when we were younger. What I find a beam of flames coming out of the school almost hit your house. He said that it was your power. I was aiming of the house to miss hit other house. I know my brother would have stopped my attack, then passed me his knight pieces and said if I wished to stay with you Ice and Vale all I had to do was shown you this piece. Irina finish. I take the knight piece. You know that this piece is one of a kind. Made of not only by the system but also an angel reincarnation card. Joker. It can type a normal person into a half-pure angel and devil. Make them less affected by devil known weakness like basic attacks and allows that person to pray to God if said person wishes. Also, the person can use holy items without burning alive. I only made one and I only have to make them. But unlike most prices your request. Need to be human, a good heart and most importantly affinity of angel. I finished. Everyone who was awake looking at me with shocked eyes. Irina takes the price back and placed it on her chest. I, Irina Hyoudou, give my life to the Red Dragon King Issei Gremory. As his new knight, I swear to protect you and your family with my life. She said the rites and the knight piece changed color from white lilo to a black red and dig its way into Irina's chest. 2 big red angel wings came out for her back. Everyone even me was shocked of the sight of Irina new wings. Irina looked at her new wings, she was surprised at the color. Red, not white or yellow but a light red color, probably the devil power going through her body. Well, this is some things: a devil angel who can sin without falling and devil who can use holy weapons. Man, you're going to be a force to fear. Irina. Irina gave the biggest smile, but that's some fall short. Irina, you only that no turning back now. You're a hybrid like me, a thing that should not be around. An abomination to God. I was then cut by Irina. If I'm an abomination, God can go fuck himself. Irina Hyoudou, the most Christian, the first no just told God to fuck himself. All I wish for now this a new life with my new family. Irina finished and after that everyone in the ORC club come in was told wait happened and we got ready to do club actually. The ORC was next to the school swimming pool. I just going to say this, it looked like shit. The pool looked like it has not been used in years. I complained. The Keno spoke up. Well silly, it has not been used since last year. Ria's planned on let ORC clean it as a thank you to the student council. As she said that I take out my phone and gave Sona a call. Bing bing hello. Sona pick up. Hi dear. I just calling to see if you and the student council wish to join us as the school pool in about 10 minutes or so as a thank you. I asked waiting of Sona to come up with answer. It will only be me, Tsubaki and Saji, the rest of my group are doing their contracts. Sona replied. Okay cool, I better get on with cleaning. See you soon. Yes see you. Sona ended the call. When I turned back to find ORC was gone. I looked at the pool to see it was empty of water. Okay, let get you cleaned. I jumped down into the pool with even getting changed. I used my magic to quickly get it done, about 3 to 4 minutes. Everyone was wearing their swimming gear. Aria and Kaneko was wearing the school swimsuit. Ruby was wearing a red two-piece suit with rose petals design on it. Uma was wearing a basic black one-piece which suited her perfectly. Ravel have a pink swimming suit, she looked cute in it. Office was wear a deep purple one-piece, making her look cuter than ever. Kuroka and Akeno decided to wear a red two pieces with my dragon mark each of the sides of the cups, showing a lot of skin. Ria's was wearing a complete white two pieces which fit her pretty good. Irina was wearing a black two pieces. Lastly, Veronica was wearing a little blue one piece with my dragon mark on the left side of it. You all look fantastic. I said, then we all played in the pool. I asked Ria's if I could put up a barrier around the pool area so I could have my wings out. She let me, allowed me. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Sona, Tsubaki and a white hair guy came over to the pool. Sona and Tsubaki was wearing the some type of one piece a little purple, which to my surprise Sona's suit have a blue dragon mark on it. Hello everyone. Sona said as everyone reply with a hello or a hi. Me and Ria's walked over to as Tsubaki left to play in the pool. We called Zenobia and Irina to introduce they to Sona. Well, I will be the first to start. This is Zenobia, my second night. Ria's introduced Zenobia to Sona. This is Sona. My childhood friend. Zenobia bowed to Sona. Sona, this Irina, my newly made knight and childhood friend back before you what? I said as Sona nod. Irina, this is Sona. She a high-class devil and a old friend of me and Veronica, she helped me and sis out a lot back when we was starting our new lives. I introduce Irina to my fiancé. It good to meet both of you. Especially you Irina, I heard a lot of good thing about you for Issei over the years. I hope you and I can get along. Sona held out she hand to get a handshake from Irina, but Irina just pulled Sona in the hug. Let get along. Irina broke apart for Sona. Now then I would like to Sona try to introduce the white-haired boy, but he started speaking. I'm Saji Genshiro. One of Lady Sona pawn. I take 4 pawn to revive. Saji said action all cocky. From what I heard about you big guy, you're some big time hot shoot. I looked at Sona was a fuck off look, she get me a nod saying go easy on him. Issei gremory high class devil. Top ranked out of young devils and next in line to the Lucifer's throne. Also one of the twin heavenly dragons. The Red Dragon Emperor. I released about a 9% of my power and he fell to his knees. How fucking powerful are you? You're killing me. Saji say trying to get up. Issei that enough. I think he learned his lesson. Sona said after she said that walked close to Saji. I sealed out most of my power and punched close to Saji face. And he piss himself. Sona I love you everything, but he need to die or his scared gear need to. I said in a cold voice. What are you saying? She asked I never killed anyone without good reason. The Poison King Dragon are also known as the Evil Dragon King. My and Drag enemy. I said summoning my boosted gear. Everyone at the pool was shocked in the way I was acting. Issei clammed down. What happened? My twin sister asked trying to clam me down, but I then summoned my second scared gear, a black boosted gear infinity gear. The office walked over and placed her hand on my infinite gear. You finally unlocked it. Now destroy that dragon. Office said as I punched Saji who did not fall to the floor, but his seared gear trigger. Come on, I bet you can't kill me now. Oh Mrs. Red Dragon, I'm going to show how much stronger I am, then Sona will love me and not you. Saji said trying used his gears launching a line from it. I dodged the attack. And you call yourself a dragon. Issei kill him and his scared gear. Sona ordered. And get back me pawn pieces. He doesn't deserve them. As she ordered I grabbed Saji's arm and overloaded his scared gear and cracked it. Now stay dead. Drag and I shouted destroying the gear and a great soul appeared in the sky and took the form of a dragon. You think you can kill me Drag? The soul spoke. You're weak and you know Albion loves me more, you incest dragon. You leave my sister out of this. You're the one who left Albion in chase after different females. It was me and Tiamat who look after her and stop her from going on a rampage. 130 years you left her in pain. That ended with Tiamat told Albion to mate with me and her. Vrutra drag anger I could feel it. Vrutra you're the one who made my dragon mother cry. I shout my anger was the sum as drag. Dragon mother? Oh did Albion have adopt a child? I jested make me your father then. As I am Albion to her mate. Vrutra laughed. Veronica was shaking her blood this the sum as Albion and she fear was being on Veronica face. But office step in. Poison one stand down. You have no right here. Oh but office you know the law. When a dragon mate for the first time they mates for life. I was only trying to create more dragons from their race. Vrutra said only to get blasted with a ball of light. Veronica had her scared gear out. Stay away from my mate and my son. Albion the one who hates fighting was fighting her old lover. The blast of light only make him lose his balance. But then I began to unleash my black gear. 2 black snakes come out of floor and attack Vrutra and wrapping out his wings. How? How did you get Office power? You're just a child. Yeah a child that made a pact with Office herself. Office has only let me use this because I made a promise to keep my family safe from people like you. Shouting I send off both snakes. You are not a dragon king nevermore. You're snake food. Both the snakes eat Vrutra and Saji body at the same time. Once they finally finished eating, 4 blue pawns pieces dropped into my hand. Before I could give them back I purged the leftover soul within. My sorry Sona for killing Saji, but that was not him. I apologized to Sona passing back her pieces. It was okay I had a feeling that Saji was not Saji after what happened with Kakabiel. He got a lot more forward and try asking me to break the promise and sleep with him. Sona said. Now you owe me a pawn. But that can wait let going play in the pool. She says cheerfully. So the ORC and student council all play in the pool no more really bad thing happening except Zenobia graging me out to the supply room and trying practicing making babies that was hard to get out after using office power my body needs a good day or 2 before my body fully ready to use my normal powers. Lucky Veronica, Riaz, Kaneko, Akeno and Sona all came to find me and after a quick explanation for Riaz after her told Zenobia to follow the path she was. I can't believe you trying to have sex with my dragon. What was you thinking? Veronica was going to town on Zenobia. All I was doing was trying to make babies. Zenobia said getting a Veronica a bit piss off her power was starting to build. Zenobia I'm going to tell you this oh listen please. I asked getting not only Zenobia attention but everyone in the room but not Kiba as he was sitting drunk some tea. I'm not have children until I'm finished high school. And right now need I'm worried about it tomorrow. And why your worries? An unknown voice spoke then a magic circle appeared on the ground to the doors and out came 2 people. Surzich and Grafia. My king. Yuma spoke and almost everyone kneeled down. Except me, Riaz, Veronica, Ira and Zenobia. But this? Zenobia asked. You idiot that Surzich Lucifer and his wife. One of the kings of hell. Irina said. He also my brother. I proclaimed. Ira have a big smile on her face be honored to make my brother. Zenobia was surprised to meet the king of hell only on her second day. Veronica jumped to Surzich and Grafia give a bear hug. I miss you. Big brother and sister. Veronica was giggling. I have miss you too. Grafia said hug her younger sister-in-law. The 3 of them break part. Brother what are you doing here? Riaz asked. Well to say thank you to all of you for dealing with Kakabiel. And I have so business to do here. And like to know how your new knight are doing. Surzich said in a friendly manner. I'm doing just fine, thank you my lord. Zenobia bow. Then Surzich looked to Irina. And you? I'm doing just fine. My lord. Issei been kind to me and at all I need. Irina replied. Good. I hope you two continue to support my young siblings. Irina and Zenobia bow to my brother request. Also I'm going to be sleeping over at your house Issei, have a bit of brother time too together. Surzich said, I just smile and nodded. I will be leaving for now. Please take care. Grafia said and teleport out. Time skip Issei house pav Issei. Well the time about 11:49 PM me and Surzich are in my room after getting out the girls for the last 10 minutes. Kuroka trying to sneak into my bed. 5 fucking times. Ria's companies that she can't sleep without me, but I told her that I need at least 1 night away from the girls. I've been holding back. Veronica and Office was the easiest to convince to leave. We are dragons so they knew the signs that I'm close to accident. I'm going to leave it to your imagination what he means. I'm lucky that Ravel, Yuma and Ruby all sleep in their own rooms and Sona agreed to sleep over only 1 to 2 times a week of my own sanity. The girls was outside my room and I gave they last good night and closed the door and put a barrier it and Surzich even put one up too. Thank you. I said after heard a bang on the door. I was getting little piss with them. Go to your own room now or you're getting replaced with the other. Do I make myself clear? Riaz and Kuroka. I heard okay and walked over to my bed. Surzich was sleeping in a futon on the floor. I guess that they are always like this. You don't know the half of it. I laid down my bed thinking of some things. That I got up. Hi, move over a bit, I'm sleeping with you tonight. I told my brother and he laughed and moved over. We both laid down laughing together. It'd been a long time since we have slept in the same bed. I think the last time was 6 years ago. Issei said, trying to remember. 7 years. I kept having nightmares about that day. I said, smiling. I asked Grafia if I could sleep next to you, she would say yes to it. Me and Veronica used to sleep in the middle of you two. We felt safe with you two. I said, remembering the happy times. Yes. You two used to follow me and Grafia around everywhere after we took the pair of you to train. You came long way from a pair of small children who just lost their parents, scared to talk to people or even go near them. To two of the much strongest young devil I known. You told me that the pair of you was starting from the bottom and work your way up. You was only low class of 3 months that to mid class passing your test first time. Then only a month late devils of the low to mid class came to challenge to pair of you. 367 people put in the hospital that day. The elder devil tried to punish you two for harming the future generations and it ended up with 3 high-class devils nearly put on the death doorstep. I got to say. It'd only take you 2 years to reach high class and to get your only peerage set. He smiles, patting me on the head. I know choosing you to be my next heir was the best decision I made. Then I could not believe that Gabriel wanted to train you and also Azazel. Your parents know the pairs of them. Your parents once told they had a dream. Perfect peace and harmony between all 3 factions. I aim to keep that dream, but only just the 3 faction, but the 3's factions and the dragon form a great alliance with would lasted for years. I said, have a big smile on my face. We both laughed of about 3 minutes, then fall silent, not a bad silence, but a calm relaxing one. Issei, can I ask you some things? Issei rarely asked me a question. What up? It about the mark that Rhea and Veronica have. I seen once on Sona. I froze up. Each one happened at different colors, Rhea's red, Sona's blue and Veronica white, but all the same shape, a dragon. He said. 8 marks. I said. Issei looked at me with a confused look. The 3 of them have a dragon mate mark. I'm the one who marked them. Veronica 2 days after the day you take us in, Rhea's the day I killed Riser and lies about the mark, and Sona was about 2 days ago with a Kakabeel instead. I'm sorry I lied about the marks, but I was scarred that you would see me different and that you would have disowned us or worst kicked us out of the devil society as stray. I confessed. Issei only pulled me into a hug. I already know about the dragon's marks. I only wanted you to tell personal and to not be afraid to tell me about these type of things. But I respect the reason what you didn't tell me and also just to let you know I have stopped father of marrying out both Rhea's and Veronica. The 2 of them are now free to choose who they marry. He just said with a friendly smile. I bet my sisters will be happy to hear that. We both closed our eyes and drifted away into a deep sleep. The day was open house day that my school, everyone parents was coming to the school. Me with a sleepy office on my back, Yuma, Kuroka, Ruby and Ravel, all walking down the road leading to the school. Rhea's and Veronica didn't come with us because Rhea's wished to pick up Zenobia and Arena to make sure the 2 got to school on time. Veronica tagged along with Rhea's because she was a little pissed with me about last night. Instead of me as a hug pillow of Rhea's and Kuroka, Veronica become the pillow, lack of sleep. We going to have one short-tempered dragon today. We all got near to the school seeing a lot of teens with parents around them embarrassing them. I fucking hope mother and father will go easy on me and sis today. Or even better, please let me have Grafia and Zech be the one in my class. I pray in the back of my mind, but that was cut out with a female student shout. Look at Issei gremories. A girl with pink hair shouted. You mean big sister Rhea's younger brother? Her friend shouted and a few girls began to look over to us. Be with Lady Uma, the Black Angel Beauty. And don't forget her stepsister Kuroka, she's sexy and pretty. I wish I could be like her. You're too crazy, you forgot the 3 new mascot of Cow High. The blonde hair hottest Ravel, who else ever boy and girl wished to his and her was as a little sister. Or the cute Rose, Ruby. You could just cuddle up with her all day. What about the quiet office, she like a doll you could take everywhere with you and sleep with. Some of the girls in this school must really like Uni. But we're Issei's princess. Veronica. Without her, Issei may cheat on her. Okay, I take it back, they into uni and incest. I shout in my mind. Me and my peerage decided to continue on to the school and handed to the class with them. As we got to class, the girls and I did our only thing. Rose and Ravel walked to some girls and talked with them. Kuroka sat down only to get boys and girls around her in second saying good morning and talk. Yuma sat next in front of me and put on her headphones and ready to book. I would have taken my seat, but 3 guys was sitting on my seat and around my desk. Hi guys. I spoke at the guys attractive. Could I got my seat back please? One of them stood up. We could, but you got to hand over the cute on your back over to my friend here. He pointed to the guy in my seat to some blonde haired asshole I kicked 3 ago. You see, he had nothing but girls laughing at him because of you, and now he depressed about it, so I know you own him, does you agree? He said with a cocky grin. I stood still for a few minutes getting it to think. Office. She wake up getting me a sleepy look. Yawning she answered yes Red. Her was slow to wake up. I looked at her. She cute. Red, can I go to sit with Bird and Reaper? You can. I let Office down, and just before she walked over to Ruby and Ravel, she gave me a small hug on the arm. Ruby and Ravel. Look Office of me please. I shouted over to them and got okay of the pair as Office walked over. After I know my little god dragon was out the way, I turned to the some to be dead guys. You think you're cool because you're a gremory? Maybe I think everyone should know that you're a nothing but a playboy using young girl of your only pleasure. The blonde hair said. Beep, you got some pretty young women around you like Kaneko or Ruby. His friend with brown hair put his hand on my shoulder. So how about we make a deal? Blondie say, getting me rally piss off. You let me and my friends play with your little harem and we don't tell everyone about your relationship with your sister. He had his phone out with the image of me and Veronica kissing out the old school building. So what it going to be? I just stood still, angry because I doesn't want to make a stance. Fuck. I shouted in my mind, trying to think of different ways to get out this. I was going to answer with a punch, but someone came in the class and saved me. Whom I got at Akeno Himejima. One of my females scrammed, getting everyone to look at her. Akeno looked around to see me with a fucked off look in Blondie group. She take my look as a ticking time bomb. Ticking down as a fast rate. She pulled past the people who gather around her and walked over to us. Hello. She said in her big sister voice. The Blondie group began to action like my friend. Hello Miss Himejima, what can we do for you? Blondie asked, trying to look cool. I'm here to trying to find Vale, have you seen her eyes? Akeno asked. She with Ria's. She pissed with me because I forget to wake her up this morning. I replied. Akeno just giggled. Last time her got mad at you. You ended up at my house because she kicked you out because you called her a binge eater after her eat all your and her food that one time when we was young. She warped her arms around me and pulled me in. The group in front of us who tried to blackmail me and the full class except my girls was looking at us. Oh, and Issei, your mother and father are going to watch Ria's in her class and your brother and his wife is go to came here. I bump into them on the way here. She said, then looked at Blondie phone he was holding. Been the best friend I could ask for. She used little bit of her thunder magic and sent it to the phone, making it shock the guy holding it, and he dropped it on floor. I putted up the phone and deleted the phone photos folder. If you were your buddy trying to blackmail me or my sister again. I spoke in my democratic-like voice. I will personally send you to hell. I throw the phone to Blonde. Now got out of my sight. When I said that, all three of them ran past me and Akeno, then out the classroom door. You okay Ice? Akeno asked in her sister tone. Yeah, I'm okay Eiko. Thank of the save, if you had not come along when you did, let's just say he and his friends would on the floor and close to death doorstep. I replied. Akeno knew that I would have done that. Short time skip 1 hour late. History class, or should I say art class. Yes, me teacher is doing a paint and crafting class to show out in front of the parents. The full class had to make her paint something. The parents stood at the back of the class and watch or recorded the lesson. Most of my classes started making thing out of clay. I was the only one who had not started yet. What can I make? I started to think. And closed my eyes. The image of Dragon Albion appeared in my head. The red and white dragons was laying down on a soft bed of grass and large grassland, with a grand cliffside behind them with a waterfall, pouring it water into a lake which was crystal clear. The twins laid in front of the lake encircling themselves with their tails locked together and heads next to one another, showing the love to two dragons share. Within the dragon circle bodies, two young children, one boy with brown hair and one girl with bright silver hair, laying asleep holding hands with each other, peaceful sleeping within the dragon's protection wall. I snapped out of my dreams with the teacher called my name. Ah, Mrs. Gremory. Miss Neckenham said. You never said you went into art. I looked down at my desk only to find a painting of what I was just thinking of. With shit. I used to paint a little bit when I was younger, but that was about 6 years ago. I said only for half of the class gathering around me. It's so cool. A female classmate said with pinky hair. Dudes look realistic. You could sell these for fortune. Motohama said. I could only smile compliments from my class. Ruby and Ravel came over to see my painting. Ravel was the first to see it. Oh Sir Issei, you started painting again? She looked at painting. It beautiful. Sir Issei, if it's not too much trouble for you, could you do a painting of me please? She asked a cute sly way. Ruby shouted. If red painting anyone it going to be me. She protested. Sirzich and Grafia walked over to my desk to have a look at the painting. Issei. He called my name so I looked at him. Is a masterpiece. You should be proud. I smiled. Until I looked at the camera he was holding. Yes, I finally got a video of you smiling. My brother shouted with laughter. Sorry of all the time skips. Time skip lunch. Riaz, Akeno, Issei and Veronica. Issei take his paintings and what to show Riaz and Akeno. This is very well made. Riaz said holding the painting in her hands. Veronica and Akeno was also looking at it. Issei, the last time you painted, it was me and mother about 7 years ago. Veronica remembered the painting her brother did. Akeno was planning something of Issei. Ice. She asked and Issei turned to her getting a yes from him. Will you do one of me please? Yeah I can. What type of painting do you wish? As he said that Akeno got a perverted smile on her face. The complete naked. She said only of Riaz and Veronica to protest again it. Issei only froze up. The 3 top members of the school was now argue. Issei at the time only heard a boy shout a magic girl. And completely shit himself. Issei repeated the word, Riaz, Akeno and Veronica all heard him. As he ran out to where the mod was going. Did you just hear him say magic girl, because if you did we have to follow. Veronica got a nod from Riaz and Akeno. We better got moving. All 3 girls started walking to the gymnastics. Of Issei. I was inside to gymnastics main hall with a large number of boys take photos of a young looking girl dressed up as a magical girl. Oh, fuck. She was here. A woman who looked like a hyper 16-year-old girl with long twin ponytails and purple eyes. The mod form earlier was taking photos of her doing different pose. Why? I screamed in my mind. I feel you. Drake said. Last time we had to deal with Seraphel was when she almost attacked Gabriel because I stayed over at heaven for a week and forgot about Seraphel's play day we planned. I said nervously. Taking a deep breath to calm myself down. Miss Shatori, can you get out of that outfit please? I shouted using a bit my dragon power to increase my voice. Everyone in the gymnasium looked at me. Seraphel also looked at me. Issei. Yeah at me. I walked over to the stage she was used for her photoshoot. All the boys was complaining about how I was interrupting their fun. I was getting a little pissed off. My eyes changed color from brown to a dark crimson red. Everyone here will leave now. Or I'm going to have you all killed. Do I make myself clear? I spoke and without a reply all the boys fucked off running. Issei, would you have to ruin my fun? Seraphel pouted. I signed. Sona and I are not in the best mood today. So is your brother-in-law, can you please change into something's more normal? I said, not left even room for her to complain. She looked down sad and changed into my school's uniform. You happy now? She continued to pout. I smiled and hugged her. I'm sorry. I streaking Seraphel hair. And yes, I'm happy to see you. You gotten a lot cuter than the last time I seen you. I complimented her. Seraphel bushes. I'm always cute. She pulled in me. Still wish you got to me first. I joked. Idiot. Veronica, Riaz and Akeno all came into gymnastics to find me and Seraphel hugging. Seraphel Leviathan. Veronica shouted at Seraphel. We both looked at my sister as her eyes glowed yellow. We both let go of each other. Sis, calm down. I tried to clam, but Veronica was having none of it. You come and try take my mate away of me, I will not let you. Veronica changed at me and Seraphel with a pure white blade Excalibur rapidly she slashed the blade to us only for us to dodge at a second moment. Veronica clammed the fuck down. I tried to spoke to her but kept slashing at me and not even going of Seraphel anymore. Issei, you're a cheater. First you don't even ask me if you can have more mate, then you go out and get a fiancé without telling me, and then after you take an office out of nowhere and now you're going after the devil's king. It like you don't even love me. Veronica shouted with tears in her eyes. I was shocked that she would ever say that. Then Albion spoke up. Young lady, how dare you even say such a thing. You know full well that your brother love you but he keeps picking up girl and he hasn't even touched me. Veronica said like a young child get told by their parents. What the fuck? Me, Riaz and Eiko all through. He keeps saying I need to find it someone else, but I can't. I don't know if it the dragon blood in my veins or my own feelings, but I can't stop loving Issei. Veronica cried. I couldn't take it. You know why I never touched you? I spoke and everyone looked at me. Because I didn't want to rush. We devil dragons hybrid, we going to live for a time. Also are you the silver hair dragon of redemption? And am I the red dragon of domination? You're a creator and I a destroyer. I know I've been holding back, but if I let that seal break I wouldn't be able to hold back. Veronica eyes widen in what I just said. So you mean then you're doing this for my sake? Veronica asked. Not just for you but for all the girls in my life. I'm a dragon, a very overly protective one at that. I looked at all the girls around me. My job as a brother and a king is to keep you all safe. I said. I'm sorry sis if I have hurt you. I bowed to my sister. They even all looked at me and Veronica and just smiled. Riaz walked up to us and said. Man, you two are going to be the death of yourselves. As she shook her head at us. Me and Veronica just looked at each other, then laughed. I guess we are. I said and then Veronica. Yay. You're right, we are going to be the death of ourselves. She laughed, finding it hard to catch her breath. We both slowly stopped laughing and locked eyes with each other and both started to speak. We are the twin heavenly dragons of redemption and domination, order and destruction, pieces and chaos. We shall stand by each other to watch and to protect their mate in their time of need. We both flinched and hugged. Suddenly Office started to speak. The ancient dragon's pack. She said as everyone else looked at her. Congratulations, you two for getting married. And with that Akeno, Serafal, Riaz all looked at Office then to me and Sis. Office, your joke gone too far. I said as Office grinned like the little trickster she is. The pack we just did was a promise to look after each other, then all. After I explained to my friends. I walked over to Office. Office. I said and she looked up at me. You know the punishment. She nodded and Neil I put my right hand on her hair and grabbed it at full force and pulled her up to my face. You have two options. 1. I reseal your powers. I started to drain her power and sealed within my infinity gear. Or are you going to be a good little dragon and obey? I said in a voice that no one not even Veronica had heard before. Now pick. I shake her head violently. Opus looked like she was in pain. She mumbled something. I can't hear you. I obey. She says with tears in her eyes. I obey, so please don't be mad at me. She cried. I'm sorry. I let my anger face go and replaced it with a smiling one. Now show your loyalty. I said as she hugged me. Good little dragon. I kissed the top of Opus' head. Everyone was shocked in what they have just seen. But Riaz started then Eiko. And lastly Veronica. Fuck. Then all said. Me and Opus just looked at the others. Oh yeah, you guys have not seen it side of me. Sorry for scaring you guy. Veronica just looked at me really fucked off. I cut off Veronica. Yeah I did just assaulted Opus, but you try and put up with her jokes for 10 years, and plus. I looked down at Opus as she hold on to my arm and petted her head. Sometimes she gets out of line and as her protector, it's my job to make sure she stay in line. I looked at everyone who was smiling. Okay I will let you off for now. Veronica said and everyone just laughed. End of the here. So that's it for today's video guys. Before you go just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.